It started with a letter. Handwritten, ink fading. No return address, just my name on the front, Noah Green. I almost threw it out with the junk mail. But something about the paper stopped me. It was thick, textured, expensive in a quiet kind of way. Inside, 4 lines. Noah. You've inherited the house. Don't stay more than 30 days. Don't open the basement. There was no signature. Just a key taped to the inside corner. The house was real. I found it on the edge of a forgotten town in northern Wyoming, 2 hours from the nearest airport, surrounded by forest thick enough to swallow sound. It was an old Victorian, chipped paint, warped porch, windows like blind eyes. But structurally sound. A lawyer from Casper confirmed everything. My late father's name was on the deed. Which was strange. Because my father had been dead for 15 years. And as far as I knew, he'd never owned property out here. The first few days were quiet. I cleaned. Explored. Made a mental map of the rooms. There was dust in the corners, cobwebs in the attic. But no signs of recent occupation. No personal belongings. No furniture, apart from an old upright piano and a grandfather clock that had stopped at 3:17. Then, on day 4, I found the tapes. They were in the study, hidden in a false bottom of a desk drawer. 10 of them. Cassette tapes. Each one labeled in neat block letters. Tape 1, The House. Tape 2, Thursday Meeting. Tape 3, Red Sky. Tape 10, If Found. And beside them, a shoebox. Inside the shoebox, a portable cassette player, extra batteries, and a note in the same handwriting as the letter. Start with this one. Play it alone. So I did. Tape 1. A click. Then a breath. And then, a voice I hadn't heard in years. My father's. If you're hearing this, I'm already dead. This house isn't what it seems. I didn't buy it, I was assigned to it. Back when I worked for them. I can't say who they are. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I kept records. Hidden here. Somewhere in this house is everything they tried to bury. And if you found the tapes, it means they didn't find them first. You need to leave, Noah. You need to leave before the 30 days are up. Because on day 31, they come back. Click. End of tape. I sat there in the study for a long time after that. The late afternoon light casting long bars through the dusty windows. The air felt heavier. The grandfather clock ticked once. Just once. Then silence. I should have left that day. But I didn't. Instead, I loaded a fresh set of batteries. And reached for tape 2. Day 5. I opened the next tape. Labeled, Tape 2, Thursday Meeting. My father's voice again. This is where it started unraveling. Every Thursday, the firm had a closed-door meeting. Just partners. High rollers. I wasn't invited. I was the numbers guy. The cleanup man. But one Thursday, they forgot to lock the line. And I listened. He paused. There was laughter. Not the casual kind. The kind you hear in expensive rooms, where people know they can't be touched. And then, a name. Project Eclipse. They were talking about money. Lots of it. Moved through charities, masked as disaster relief, routed into accounts that didn't exist on paper. They thought no one was watching. I was. Click. There's more on tape 3. End of message. I sat back. Project Eclipse. What was it? I didn't even finish my coffee before I reached for the next cassette. Tape 3, Red Sky. That was the day I saw them for what they really were. Not businessmen. Not donors. Operators. Architects of something far larger than I imagined. I was sent to review documents tied to Project Eclipse. Millions were marked as energy infrastructure but routed to shell companies. All of them pointed to one place, a patch of desert in Nevada. I drove out there at night. Left my phone. Paid cash. I thought I was being clever. I reached the edge of the site. No fences, but warning signs, military style. And I saw lights, underground. Bright. Pulsing. And a hum. Low. Like a living machine. I recorded it. Click. In the safe, I found the microcassette. Labeled Night Hum. And a note. If I'm gone, don't listen alone. But I did. I played the hum. It didn't sound like a generator. It sounded alive. Then came a knock. On my front door. When I opened it, nothing. Except for a footprint in the dirt. Bare. Human. Facing the house. The footprint didn't vanish with the wind. That night, I found another. And a faint light blinking in the woods. White. Artificial. I stepped toward it. It vanished. Tape 4, they followed me home. I thought I was careful. But they came anyway. My office was searched, clean, professional. There was another note. Final warning. Then came the visits. Knocks at 2:17 a.m. First the back door. Then the kitchen window. I didn't sleep. I just waited. In the attic, I found a box labeled regret. Inside, photographs. Dozens. Politicians. Bankers. My father. And one man circled in red. The man whose footprint I found. The one in the tape. Tape 5, I tried to expose them. I failed. Project Eclipse isn't a place. It's a filter. A way to decide who matters. And who doesn't. They're not building a weapon. They're building an eraser. Not to destroy cities. To destroy memory. Click. The tape melted in my hand. That night, I heard breathing. Through the floorboards. Someone, or something, was under the house. Tape 6, the agreement. They made me an offer. Walk away. Take the money. Sign a contract. But the contract was already signed. My name. My handwriting. Dated a week before I received it. I burned the paper. But that didn't stop them. At the general store, I asked the old man if anyone had lived in the house before me. He said, one man. A lawyer. Left in the middle of the night. Never came back for his car. Tape 7, the final one. If you're hearing this, you're being studied. The house is a blind spot. That's why the time limit is 30 days. They want to see if you'll open it. The basement. The key is in the piano bench. I never opened it. But maybe you will. I found the key. Cold. Wrapped in cloth. I haven't opened the door yet. But I will. Day 11. I didn't sleep. Not really. I lay in bed with the key clutched in my hand, staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet. But quiet isn't always empty. In this house, quiet feels full. Full of something holding its breath. Waiting. At 4:17 a.m., I stood up. I walked barefoot through the cold wooden hall. Down the stairs. Past the grandfather clock, which now ticked exactly twice a day. To the basement door. It looked ordinary. Just old wood. A tarnished handle. A lock. But it wasn't ordinary. Because the wood pulsed, barely visible. Like it was breathing. I slid the key into the lock. It turned too easily. The door opened without a sound. And a cold wind swept up the stairs. But not the kind of cold that touches skin. The kind that touches memory. There were 13 steps. Old, creaking boards. I counted them by touch, by pressure, by the way each one groaned differently underfoot. As if they didn't want me to reach the bottom. The basement smelled like earth and iron. But beneath it was another smell, darker. Familiar. The scent of a room closed for too long, where something once lived and maybe still does. The beam from my flashlight flickered. Once. Then again. I smacked it with my palm. It steadied. But the shadows didn't. They moved when I didn't. I saw the walls first. Lined with shelves. Not books, binders. Labeled with dates. Decades. Some older than I am. I opened one. Inside, hundreds of photographs. All black and white. Faces. Always the same kind of face, neutral, mid-sentence, unaware. People being watched. And in the corner of every photo, 3 numbers. Not timestamps. Something else. One binder was different. It had no label. I opened it. And found a single envelope. Inside, a photograph. Of me. Standing at my mailbox. Holding the letter that started all this. On the back, in red ink. 30 days. Observed. I dropped it. And then I heard it. The breathing again. Closer now. I turned slowly. Behind the furnace, in the far corner of the basement, was a door I hadn't seen before. Metal. Rusted. And it was open just a crack. From inside, a dim orange light spilled out. And the breathing, steady. Rhythmic. Not fast. Not aggressive. But, deliberate. I stepped closer. The tape recorder in my pocket clicked on. I didn't press play. I didn't press anything. A new voice came through. This was never about your father. It's about you. And whether you'll do what he couldn't. Click. Then silence. I opened the door. Inside wasn't a room. It was a tunnel. Carved into the earth. Lined with old train lights. They blinked once. Then again. And turned green. Welcoming. I turned back once. To the house. To the stairs. But something inside me already knew. If I didn't go forward now, I'd never get another chance. So I stepped inside. And the door shut behind me. The air inside the tunnel was colder than the basement. But it wasn't natural cold. It was, held cold. Like a long pause before something says your name. The tunnel stretched forward in a slight curve, so you could never quite see where it ended. Every few feet, a flickering train light blinked on, as if sensing my movement. Green. Then dim. Then gone again. I walked. Each step echoed like it had no walls to bounce off, like I was walking through the memory of a place, not the place itself. And the farther I went, the more the walls changed. First dirt. Then stone. Then something else. Smooth. Seamless. Like it was poured from a single piece of metal. I touched it. Warm. Too warm. I checked the recorder in my pocket. Still off. No blinking light. But it felt heavier now. Like it had heard something I hadn't. I kept walking. And then the tunnel ended. Abruptly. I wrote one sentence. I was never alone. And the world sealed again. The tunnel faded. I was back in the study. Back in the house. The clock ticked. 3:17, the recorder was in my hand. Still recording. No voice but my own this time. Day 13. I saw it. All of it. They aren't hiding the truth. They're letting us decide which version becomes real. And that's the agreement. Day 14. The house feels different now. Like it knows I saw behind the curtain. The air hums with quiet electricity. The clock ticks again, every hour on the hour. The lights no longer flicker, but stay on, unwavering, like they're watching. And the study door locks itself when I'm not looking. I wake to find things moved. Not big things, subtle ones. A book I never opened now lies on the nightstand, dog-eared to a page about memory loss. My toothbrush is wet when I haven't brushed my teeth. My shoes have dirt on them from a trail I haven't walked. Or maybe I did. Maybe not me, but another version. This morning, I found the note. Taped to the bathroom mirror. The copy room awaits. No explanation. Just that. I searched the house again. Every floorboard, every crawlspace. Nothing. Until I returned to the basement. And found the second door. Metal. Sealed. Flush with the wall. Like it had never been there before. But now it was. A blinking panel above it flashed once, then read. Identity confirmed, entry granted. The door hissed open. And behind it, a stairwell. Spiral. Endless. Lit by cold blue lights that buzzed in a rhythm too precise to be accidental. I descended. Each step pulled memory from me like lint off a coat. By the time I reached the bottom, I wasn't sure what day it was anymore. Or if I'd ever been upstairs at all. The stairwell ended in silence. No door. Just a sudden stop. A hallway stretched ahead, narrow, windowless, sterile white. And at the end, another door. Glass, this time. Behind it, the glow of old monitors. Rows of filing cabinets. And printers. Dozens of them. Each slowly spitting out sheets of paper. No one was feeding them. No one stood inside. But they moved. Working. As if driven by something deeper than automation. I pushed the door open. A dry, recycled wind met me. The air smelled like toner and ozone. And behind the hum of machines, there was breathing again. But it wasn't coming from any one place. It was coming from everywhere. I stepped in. And the lights adjusted. Motion sensors. Or recognition. The printers kept working. I approached the nearest one. It was printing a form. Not typed. Handwritten. The same phrase repeated again and again. I agree. I agree. I agree. Beside it, a copier activated. And the tray began to fill. But not with paper. With photographs. My father. At various ages. Dressed in suits, in military fatigues, in hospital gowns. Each labeled with the same stamp. Copy B, failed retention. I pulled one sheet out. On the back, his handwriting. If you find this, I didn't survive. They only let you remember what they want to become true. And every time I tried to stop them, they just made another version. But if you made it here, maybe you're the real one. I froze. Because that's when I saw the figure. Across the room. Standing still. Watching. It was me. Or someone who looked exactly like me. Expressionless. Motionless. And in his hand, a manila folder. The same one I'd found in the tunnel. He opened it. And then he spoke. This isn't the first time we've met. Only the first time you remember. To be continued. Final segment of part 8 coming next. I stepped forward. So did he. Mirroring me perfectly. Until we stood face to face. The other me handed me the folder. I opened it. Inside, 2 pages. One blank. One signed. With my name. And the date, today. You already agreed, he said. You just haven't lived through it yet. He pointed behind me. To the printer. It had stopped. And on its tray, one final sheet. Copy C, active subject. Observation continues. Outcome unknown. Then he vanished. No flash. No smoke. Just gone. I looked at the folder again. The blank page had words now. Appearing letter by letter. Typed in real time. You are now the original. All others terminated. Maintain the agreement. The lights dimmed. The machines powered down. The door clicked open behind me. Upstairs, the house was quiet again. Too quiet. Except for one sound. The recorder in my pocket. Clicking on. Playing back a voice. Mine. Day 14. They're gone. But I think. I'm still being copied. And if you're hearing this, so are you. Day 15. Something has changed. I wake up in the house, but it's too quiet. The floor doesn't creak. The walls don't groan. Even the wind outside seems to hold its breath. And the recorder is gone. Not misplaced, asterisk gone star. As if it was never here. But I remember it. I remember the voice. Mine. Saying things I never said. Or haven't yet. There's something new in the study. A file drawer I've never noticed. Black. Steel. Locked. But when I reach for it, it slides open. Inside, one folder. Labeled in silver ink. Original // final, do not duplicate. I pull it out. Inside, just 3 things. 1, a photograph of me, but older. Worn. Eyes tired. 2, a signed letter addressed to asterisk, the next iteration. Asterisk. 3, a thin USB drive, unlabeled. The letter reads. If you're reading this, it means the others failed. It means you survived deletion. But survival isn't freedom. You were never the subject. You were the control. The real agreement begins now. I plug in the USB. The screen flares to life. One folder. Encrypted. Labeled, the fallback plan. It asks for a password. I don't know it. But my fingers type anyway. Almost involuntarily. Green 1978. The folder opens. And what I see changes everything. The folder contains 6 video files. Each marked with a different date. And each file named the same. Exit _attempt #, followed by a number. Exit attempt number 1 was dated 10 years ago. Exit attempt number 6 was, next week. But all 6 videos featured the same person. Me. Or someone wearing my face. In each, I stood in front of a door. Sometimes in the house. Sometimes outside. Once, on a subway platform. I gave the same speech, word for word. My name is Noah Green. I revoke consent. I end the agreement. Each time, the video ended the same way. Sudden static. Then silence. None of the attempts worked. Not a single one reached the end. And each time, the next version of me picked up where the last left off, unaware, until they found the folder. The agreement didn't trap a person. It trapped a pattern. I looked closer at the USB. There was a hidden file. Corrupted. I ran a repair tool. It stuttered. Then blinked open. and revealed a final document. Fallback protocol, green node. In the event of full awareness, subject green must choose one of two outcomes. 1. Exit, memory reset, replacement initiated. 2. Inherit, full access, surveillance role activated. There were 2 buttons below. No password. Just exit, inherit. I stared at the screen. And realized. The entire house had gone quiet. Too quiet. Because someone, or something, was waiting for my choice. And this time, there wouldn't be a second version. This time, it stuck. To be concluded, final segment of part 9 next. I hovered the mouse over exit. But something in my hand twitched. I wasn't ready to forget. Not again. I moved the cursor to inherit. Clicked. The screen went dark. Then one word appeared. Accepted. The floor beneath me shifted. The desk dissolved into the floor. The walls pulsed once. And then, everything changed. The study blurred. Reformed. Now I was in a room I'd never seen. Rows of monitors. Every screen showed a version of me. Living. Sleeping. Running. Screaming. Observing. A voice came through the speaker. Not mine. Not my father's. Something older. Welcome, Node Green. All versions archived. You are now the observer. Do not interfere. Maintain balance. One final screen lit up. It showed a house. My house. But empty. No one inside. A prompt blinked in the corner. Would you like to create a new copy? Asterisk asterisk. Options. Yes, no. I didn't click. I just watched. And for the first time, I realized the truth. The agreement wasn't about me. It was about them. And now, it was my turn to decide what comes next. The monitors glowed. Dozens of lives. Hundreds of outcomes. All versions of me, archived like documents in a filing cabinet. Some were peaceful. Some had lost their minds. Some had died screaming. But none of them were me. Because now I was no longer a version. I was the original. I looked at the blinking prompt again. Would you like to create a new copy? Yes, no. I didn't answer. Not yet. Because something else had appeared on the monitors. A room. Not the study. Not the copy room. Something deeper. Beneath it all. Inside, one chair. Facing a screen. And in the chair, someone sat. Not me. Not my father. But someone older. The source. The one who made the agreement. I descended the stairs. Each level beneath the house revealed another hidden floor. Another secret chamber. Until I reached the bottom. And found the door. Simple. Wood. With a brass handle. A plaque above read. Node 000, Authority. I knocked. No answer. I pushed the door open. Inside, silence. And then. He spoke. I was wondering when you'd get here. He didn't look at me. He was watching the monitors. I made you, he said. All of you. And now, I need you to make a choice. He turned toward me. Not angry. Not afraid. Just tired. The world forgot what truth was, he said. So we built the agreement to preserve it. Every choice, every deviation, recorded. Until one of you could see the whole board. That's you now. He stood. Unplugged the final monitor. The room darkened. You can end it, he said. Delete the system. Free the copies. Or you can continue it. Choose new subjects. Let the pattern expand. But either way, this is where I stop. He walked past me. Disappeared through the stairwell. And then I was alone. The monitors powered down. The only light came from a single terminal behind me. It read. Command mode, original node active. And below it. End agreement. Expand agreement. I sat. Hands shaking. I thought of my father. Of all the copies. Of the lives erased, rewritten, duplicated. And I made my choice. I typed. End agreement. The system asked. Are you certain? Yes. The screen went white. Then. Agreement terminated. All versions deleted. Only original remains. I walked upstairs. The house was quiet. No hum. No files. Just me. For the first time. Truly me. I stepped outside. And the sky felt new. Like I'd never really seen it before. No cameras. No watchers. No versions. Just one man. One truth. And a world waiting to begin again. The end.